read what you want. Read what you enjoy reading. And don't let anybody shame you for it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to We Know What You Like. I'm Lucia.
Katie.
And yeah, welcome back to Book Talk. This month we had my pick, which is Damned. We actually welcome back to the world of me having a physical copy of a book. It's by Chuck Palahniuk. I can never say his last name.
I couldn't tell you at all.
For those who don't know, he did write Fight Club. And so I've never read Fight Club, but I have seen the movie. And the one other book that I have read by him is Snuff, which I read when I was maybe 13 or 14 about an aging porn star who wants to make the Guinness World Record of sleeping with the most guys in a day. But there's like so many other hijinks happening and kind of giving me like Crash vibes with all these interlocking plots. So when I found this book at the thrift store, I was like, you know what? Bet. And it seemed fun, like Hell, Breakfast Club, almost-esque vibes, and I thought, why not? Something a little bit different for the book talk. So, yeah.
It was definitely something like I'd never read before, which was kind of neat to go through.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what to expect going in, and I enjoyed it, I will say.
Perfect. Me being me, I had like 2 months or whatever to read this. I barely read it this morning. It's okay. It's as long as it's read,
Yeah,
it's fine. But yeah, so plots. It's about a girl named Maddie Spencer who she thinks overdosed on I was gonna say heroin, on marijuana. No, on marijuana, and then is sent to hell. And it's her grappling with the residents of hell and being who she is versus becoming a new person versus her life on Earth. Your life doesn't end at death. What will you make of it after you close your eyes and you leave your physical body?
Right.
Basically, it's a skim of it all, and we have some interesting characters. Any ones in particular that you liked?
I kind of enjoyed the nerd. What was his name? Leonard?
Yeah.
I think with all the facts and interesting things.
Yeah.
I liked hearing the details behind all the things in hell that he would tell her, which was really cool.
Yeah. And it's cool that we find out, the reason why he knows all this is because he lived so many years ago. And so he had time to learn about these things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the character that I really liked, I really liked Maddie, actually. I did.
Mm-hmm.
She's very smart for her age. Or at least with her words, But the one that I really liked, and if y'all are new here, hi, but I am terrible with names. The guy with the mohawk. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Archer, right?
Archer, yeah. Archibald, whatever, Archie.
Yeah.
But when he got his head, decapitated, and basically his head...
This is the weirdest fucking chapter I've ever read in my life.
I was like, what?
It was like no context either. Like it goes from one chapter is one thing, and then they go to that in the next chapter, and then it's totally different in the next. It's just like disconnected.
Man, Chuck, were you on drugs? Probably. But yeah. That was funny. It was funny.
It was a little funny.
There is a second book in this series, I guess you will, which I didn't know until after I bought the book or whatever. But I think I'll eventually buy it and read it. I think it'll be fun.
I think so too. I'm interested to see what happens,
especially with like what happens with when she finally meets the devil and he says the whole, "Oh, I made you. You're the story." Like what?
Yeah,
that was a little. But
like, how true is that?
Right? I'm the driver leading you to hell. But also, so hi, Juliet. What's up, little one? What's up, bud? Oh, he's gotten so big. It'd be like that.
Ooh, okay.
But
I'm
yeah.
good. It's
Okay. Okay, sorry, I got distracted, baby. Do I want any of my own? No, that doesn't mean that I can't say hi, weird baby talk to babies, you know? But yeah, it was a fun one. I liked the different thought process that you have to, or not thought process, but the different sort of concepts behind religion and being a good person and what makes a person deemed for heaven or hell. And because in honesty, it's like, why is she in hell? And you find out that was a mix-up with the system.
And and it was like a interesting like rendition of hell too. It's not like they were in pits of fire all day. They were literally telemarketers.
I actually thought that was really clever, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's true I don't really get those calls a lot. I just ignore them. But, you know, the people they call at random hours of the day, and it's like, okay. Yeah. And they just, and it gives also, it's a way, it's counseling and therapy for the people who are dying, you know?
Right.
Which made me wonder, like, because Maddie gets a call from her parents, or she gets connected to her parents. I was like, wait, because all the other people that she talked to in the phone, they were in some form or another dying. So I felt like it's like, oh, is her parents going to be dying soon? I wondered that. But it was...
I mean, maybe. Or was it on purpose even, like, that she got connected to them?
Because, again, if the devil is the one writing her story, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a good... Because even the devil says it. He's like, you know, you're good with people, you're a people pleaser. You know, when people see me as a devil, they're scared to pass on. But you welcome people with ready arms for them to be ready to die.
Yeah.
But I really did like that aspect that dead people can still talk to the living to make them...
Yeah.
It's a different sort of take on someone being at the hospital. You know, okay, you know, you have your live people, you know, your family, or sometimes you're alone, you have your nurses talking to you like, oh, it's okay to move on. But in this case, it's the dead telling you it's okay.
Yeah.
It was
cool.
A
neat concept. I really liked it.
Yeah. It's that baby.
I also enjoyed that, like, all the demons and monsters in hell were, like, forgotten gods from ancient history, which was really a neat concept, too.
Yeah. I liked, they said at some points that Jesus himself would be down there because he would eventually himself would be forgotten as, you know, the times goes by. And I was like, that'd be neat. No offense, you know. But it'd just be an interesting concept is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it was kind of cool. And it gives, like, purpose to all those religions that don't have followings anymore.
Mm-hmm. How did you feel about the battles, you know, stomping up to Hitler and, you know.
They were kind of funny more than anything.
Yeah.
Like, they made me laugh. Like, she was like, okay, I'm just going to take on all of these, like, scary people from the past.
Yeah. They reminded me of, like, Fall Out Boy had this one series of music videos where it was like a series of music videos, like an interlocking storyline, and there was a lot of shit happening. I don't know, in my head, I just kept on picturing these, like, her adventures and fighting, because she had, you know, the trophies and everything, as a series of music videos. It's like, it'd be, and because it's hell, it'd be like a rock band, you know, happening.
Right. And her little goth punk friend is the one cheering her on.
Yeah, you see, and maybe it's because I recently, as of like yesterday, listened to Fall Out Boy's new latest-ish songs, or like their music videos, so I had that in my head too.
I listened to them the other day. They were pretty good.
Yeah. Let me tell you, they're giving me trouble with the fucking, what is it called? The blocking, like on YouTube. Yeah. And I was like, motherfucker. Anyways, not the point.
I'm gonna be honest. So Fall Out Boy is touring, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to know when they're coming to my area?
When?
The day after Pink.
Ah!
Like, there's no way I can make it from the city up to where Fall Out Boy is playing in under 24 hours.
They're going to be playing on my birthday in Chula Vista.
Oh, that's so fun. You have to go.
I think I will. I'm like, no, Chula Vista's not far.
It's not, and I mean, at least out here, their tickets were really reasonably priced, so they can't be that bad.
I think I saw them. They were like 100 something. That's for cheapest.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna go. It's my 30th. But yeah, going back. But anyways, like, honestly, it just reminded me of a series of music videos and it'd be a lot of fun. And plus, you know, with like Fall Out Boy and some of their old songs, they have, you know, young kids kind of like leading the charge, and she's 13 years old.
Yeah.
So going back to Maddie and her dying at 13, did you think there was more to her death than just dying of marijuana?
Definitely, because I immediately was like, you have to smoke so much marijuana to overdose on it.
Yeah.
Like, she's just kind of, my brain was like, she's a little dumb and doesn't really know how marijuana worked, and something else happened.
Yeah.
And she's just either not remembering or is, like, purposely not stating.
Yeah. When I said earlier she was smart, she is smart, you know? But also she thinks she's smarter than what she is.
True, yeah. In true 13-year-old fashion.
Exactly. So all of that made sense to me. You know, it's like, her stating over and over that she's a 13, but she's not dumb. In my mind, I was that kid that also did that. So I was like, bro, I was annoying at 13 then. But I forgave myself because I was smart. Hold on one second. Let me drink some water. So I'm gonna pause on how, because I also felt the same way, because they kept on saying that people in hell are liars. So, and she wasn't exactly saying more about how she died versus marijuana. I was like, listen, I don't smoke a lot of marijuana. You know, last time I did it, I got COVID from sharing a blunt. You didn't hear that, YouTube. But I was like, I've been around people who smoke. You know, there's no way you die of that. But
You have to smoke so much to die of that.
But there was also the fact of the matter that her parents completely ignored her unless they were needed for her, like, to be in the limelight of some sort.
Right.
But even then,
pretending she was like 8 years old.
Oh, that was so annoying. It was so sad for me. Honestly, I felt sad for her. Because she's like, okay, she says, I'm 13, I'm fat, I'm this and that. And so, like, at that age, and even ages before and after, that feels like a lot of pressure. And added to the fact that your parents are, like, hippies, telling you drugs, telling you to have your own life, not really, and they're a bunch of hypocrites, too. Like, giant hypocrites. And, like, but I was like, why do they remind me of, like, Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, adopting all the kids part?
Yeah.
Like, am I getting that vibe? You know, they're A-list actors, you know, and they're Hollywood. So I was like, am I getting that vibe? But also, I felt like she wanted to be seen. And, so the part when they came, those girls were like, let's do a little game with the, you know, the choking. The way that it was described in the book, it was like the most euphoric feeling to her. And it was her looking down at herself, and it was her seeing herself, and she really liked it. And so I was like, that's what's gonna happen. She's gonna do that with there was no kiss of death, you know?
Right.
From that, started with a G, her adopted brother. I don't remember his name. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But I was like, I feel so bad. And then, how'd you feel about the parents? Do you think the parents loved her?
I think maybe in their own way they did. Mm-hmm. In the way that people who don't know how to be parents can love their kids.
Yeah. As you hold your baby.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he looks like Casey. I think he looks like Casey. It's the eyes for me, you know? I don't know why I see that. Anyways, I think so too, but I felt like they cared more about themselves and their lifestyle versus parenting a child.
Oh, for sure.
And that's what I'm saying. That's just sad to me. It's like, yeah, I have my issues with my mom and my dad and such like that, but like at least I know they listen to my interests and everything.
Right.
It's like
they
know
just shove you in a corner somewhere.
They know how old I am.
They know.
Like, dang. One of the things that I really liked, speaking about their parents and, you know, like the metaphors that they're talking about in this book, they brought it in the beginning and they wrapped it around again at the end. You know, the author is talking about how the mom uses the ACs and like the adjustables inside on all of their homes, and that's basically like death in a sense. You're there, you're watching, but that's boring. You know, you're not living. You're not having an actual life and doing your own thing.
Mm-hmm. You're just playing with buttons, watching it happen.
Yeah, and I really also like the fact that it's like heaven is heaven, dead is dead, hell is hell. Accept it. Yeah. It is what it is. Yeah. It was a good book. I liked it. I want to know what the story was with the grandpa. Like, they made mention of it, like a little thing. I can't quite remember all the details, but they meant something and made mention. And Madison was like, "Oh, I'm not going to talk about it." And I wonder if they're going to bring it up in the second book.
Maybe. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Any particular scene was your favorite?
Trying to think. I definitely liked when they went on Earth for Halloween. That was very fun.
Yeah.
Towards the end. I also liked seeing like the flashbacks of her life, like, and the events that leaded up to her death.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if it was like exactly a whole scene, but kind of when she comes to the realization that hell is less about your punishment and more about learning to accept who you were as a person.
Yeah.
I really liked that realization point too. Because it kind of like gives hell more of a purpose than what it normally has, which is just literally for you to be tortured forever.
Yeah. And it's also tying into what you're just saying. You know, she says towards the end, I think hell isn't meant to be this horrific place. It's the fact that it was basically abandoned for X amount of years. And so it became that, you know, crusty, hell-bent place. You know, we got the wasted semen waterfall or river, whatever it was.
Yeah.
We got the putrid vomit place. And all the tears lake, whatever it was. And I liked how, you know, what's her name? Madison, right? Yeah, Madison. I remember. I'm so proud of myself. She made the place more of an inviting place for others to join.
Yeah,
you know?
She like spruced it up a little bit.
And she's like, okay. And then I like how she had all of the different armies of evil, if you will, do different things. Yeah. And there was a part where she was fighting Catherine I forgot the last name, but some French lady. She caused like so many people to die. She was like literally beating her ass, like kicking her and stomping her. So I'm just imagining a 13-year-old chick, like my little sister. She's like 14, I think. I don't know, somewhere around that age. I'm just imagining her literally stomping her, just like, beat her ass, bro, beat her. But like, my little sister is not short though. Because Madison is like 4'9". That must have sucked though. 4'9", dying at 13.
Ooh, you're gonna be 4'9" forever.
But like, that's you know, but beat her ass, bro. And then it just reminded me that even in hell, humans need some sort of societal structure in order to govern themselves and have a lasting impression or lasting purpose. And so, yeah, it was a good read. I liked it. So not only my favorite part, not only the part with, you know, the head orgasm, severed head. That was just so funny, though. She's like, listen, I'm 13 and I'm a virgin, but I know stuff because of who my parents are. So here, head.
Here you go. Have fun.
Here, monster, here. But the other part I really liked though was the adopted brother giving her the cat that she accidentally flushed down the toilet.
She flushed down the toilet.
I was like, Jesus, not the cat.
No, that was a cute little scene too.
Yeah, because like I wasn't prepared for it because at that point it was towards the end of the book, and so I knew he had to come back because there was no way his story. Like, they hadn't even talked to each other, right? So he was like...
Right, yeah.
So I knew he was going to come back. But he just fucked off to somewhere else. And then he's like, hey, I didn't mean to kill you. I found
Here's
this.
your cat.
And so I was just like, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting it, so it gave my little heart a little happy, you know? And I was like,
Yeah.
I wonder how Katie felt about it, because I know you like cats.
I do like cats. It made me smile. It was cute.
Yeah.
Like a peace offering.
Exactly. And then the next chapter with the dear, hey Satan sort of things. Oh, it was like,
Yeah.
I got my best friend because the other 13-year-old, speaking of,
Right.
she died of AIDS, and she said, how did you get AIDS? She said her therapist. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
oh.
so sad.
I know. I was like, stop it.
Like, that's a person who's supposed to be your safe space.
I
Why?
know. And she was like literally asking prior to that, like, hey, should I go to a therapist again? Or like another one. And Madison was like, no, they'll just tell you, like, want to hear your stuff and just like judge you.
Yeah.
What, how did you feel about our main character?
I enjoyed her spunk.
Yeah.
She had like a bit of sass to her, which was really fun to read.
Yeah.
And she was very much read like a know-it-all 13-year-old, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her. I think she'd be a fun person to like actually talk to.
I agree. I'm glad she decided to be her own person, because in life, if you will, she was someone who always a people pleaser. Like, she literally was like not telling those 3, trollops or the students no. They just let her put around her throat, and I'm like,
yeah,
what? Have you ever seen Euphoria, by the way, that show with Zendaya?
No, it's on my list though.
Well, I'm not going to spoil anything, but just say that scene reminded me, no choking or anything, but just that euphoric feeling that happens reminded me of how they express in that show. And I was like, right. So that's why people do that. Because they were talking about, French kissing, and I was like, it reminds me of the little death, which is in French is like ma petite whatever, which is basically like an orgasm, if you will. And I was like, she's 13 and she's a virgin, so she's not, and she's now dead, so she's not going to quite get there. So I was like, is that her own version of a orgasm euphoria without having before her death, basically?
Right, maybe, yeah.
I was just thinking that as I was reading. I also really liked the fact that when she was on her winter break, she was just like at the house or like at the boarding school, and she was just like hyping herself up to like go around naked. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes I'm not even tripping. Sometimes I do that in my own room, and it's very freeing.
It is, yeah.
I don't go around outside to do that. That's a no for me. But like her fucking fingerprints.
However, it was a little bit sad that like she like hid in the boarding school during their winter break instead of going home.
Yeah. Remind me of Harry. I don't know why. It just did. But Harry had friends.
Yeah.
But those bullies got what they were coming from, because at the end on Halloween, she was summoned, and you know what?
Yeah. She gave them what they deserved.
She made them. It was really funny.
It was really funny. I laughed while reading it.
Yeah, I was like, did I just read that right? Did they just shit themselves? What they do? Yeah, it was a fun read. What do you think of the other characters besides like the ones we mentioned? We had the cheerleader, if you will. We had. So you said you liked the nerd.
Yeah, I found the cheerleader mildly annoying, but like that's kind of her purpose. Mm-hmm. And then I just kind of wrote off the football player. He was just kind of there. Yeah, he didn't really do much.
I would agree on the football player, and at the beginning I agreed on the cheerleader, but then as we got to know her more, I feel like, and it's easier for me to recall these things because I literally read it this morning versus you, like a week or two ago. But I felt like she was helping Madison become more of a person she wanted to become. Physically wise, she gave her shoes that she was never allowed to wear. She gave her a haircut she was never allowed to get because her mom insisted on having her be this 8-year-old that she never was.
Right, yeah.
So I did honestly really appreciate that. And she came through. You know, with the candy bars and like getting them through with a test. Oh, how did you feel about that test, the poly test? All those questions. Fun. All those questions.
There were some interesting questions too. They were like all over the place, which was kind of neat.
Basically, we're going to hell.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I knew that already. Julian, you still have time.
He's still got time.
Yeah. Yeah. What else do I want to say? I feel like there's other things. Oh, well, I did want to ask you, I know we brought it up, but like, how do you feel about the twist about the devil being her writer and, you know, part of her screenplay, or, you know, he wrote her basically?
It was really unexpected, which I always like when twists are unexpected. I hate when I can tell they're coming.
Right, me too.
And it was like an interesting take on Satan too. Like, it almost made him like he wasn't the person in charge.
Mm-hmm. No, that's
like
true.
Like, he's hiding behind this like screenplay vibe.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like out there ruling like he normally is in hell settings.
Yeah.
And I'm like intrigued as to how true it is that he like created her in her whole life, or if he's just taking credit for her for it. Mm-hmm.
That's true. It kind of reminds me, because like they were saying, you know, hell became the way it was because it was neglected. And if, you know, Satan does take a back step and just lets the people who inhabited hell to do what they want, then it's true, you know, because then people govern their own actions and do what they will. It wasn't until like Maddie came to that place, or like, I guess technically someone tried to do something because, you know, the phones, the telemarketing, but it wasn't until Maddie, went there and decided to take charge that it became more of a structural place that, you know, so, but then again, if that's true, then, you know, the devil did that on purpose. So I am curious too. And like the last line of the book, basically, she says, you know, she terrible her to go kick some satanic ass. That's what she says. That's the last line, and it says to be continued. So I am interested as well as that. At first I felt like it was a little, like, what? Why are we bringing, like, that into this? I was a little, like, felt like a little robbed in a sense, but there is a second book, so maybe they'll explore, obviously they'll have to explore more into that.
Yeah.
It was a shock, I'll give you that. But I didn't know if I liked it. So I'll see how I feel about that twist, if you will, when I read the second book, whenever that may be.
Makes sense, yeah.
Because if it's just, like, if it doesn't amount to much, but then again, you know, the devil lies.
Right.
But then he said, oh, now you're going to feel sad. Now you're going to be looking for your friends. And she did have that feeling of wanting to. Yeah. So it's like.
But, like, did he write and create her, or does he just know her really well?
Exactly. Or are they like the two sides of the coin? These are the days of the devil in Maddie's lives. Yeah, it was just a good read. What else had happened? Nothing. It was just a really fun book. It was different. It explored the thought process of, how'd you feel about her funeral? She's like, I would rather have a silver coffin all laid out, but my parents gave me this whack ass. I was like, even in death, they choose to look for sidestepping. When she was talking to the poly test, and she's like, that demon looks like the one from this Exorcist, and she's like, oh, and then he's all ignoring her, and he's like, oh, do you know blah blah blah? That's who represents me. That gave me a good little chuckle. That gave me a good chuckle. I don't know if I have other things to say, because basically death, your physical form, according to this book and Maddie, doesn't have to be the end of your life. You know, you always have a chapter 2. And you always have a chapter 2, and it's up to you to change it. If one life you want to be a nasty, narcissistic, or whatever, it's your second one. What will you do with it?
Right.
So who knows? I am curious to see if she ever does venture into heaven or if she accepts her going back into, a live mode, if you will. I am curious about that. So I have nothing else much to say. Do you have anything else to say?
I don't think so.
No, it wasn't a very long book, and it was fun though, and I'm glad we got to read it, and it gave me food for thought, and yeah, Julian liked it too.
Julian's got thoughts too.
But yeah, I'm glad you read this with me. I don't know when I'll read the second one, but for sure I'll read it at some point, maybe this year. And next book on the docket, I believe, is Mary's Pick, which is The Stolen Heir, but Holly Black. Yes. And you've already read it, right?
I did. I finished it the other day.
And for those who don't know, we've read some of Holly Black's books before, and she wasn't my favorite author, but I also still enjoyed her. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, friend, it was great to see you, as always.
Thank you.
I have my dad calling me right now like 2 or 3 times already, so I need to go call him back to see what he wants. But
hi, Dad.
I'll tell him you said hi. Thanks. But yeah, this was Lucia.
Katie.
With We Know What You Liked, and this was Damned. So, bye though.
Bye.
Have a good day.